an engagement ring or any piece of jewelry with diamonds in it is a big investment. Now, some people will save up for months just to be able to afford a rock that sparkles.
Yeah, well, now more couples are choosing lab-grown diamonds, which not only saves money but also reduces your carbon footprint. Joining us to talk more about it is Rachel Akmakjian, Director of Jewelry Relations for BriteCo. And nice to have you with us, Rachel.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. We're really excited to be here.
Well, so for those of us who don't know, explain what exactly a lab-grown diamond is.
So much like their title, a lab-grown diamond is a diamond that is grown in laboratories both in the United States and across the world. Now, they've been around for a long time. Actually, General Electric was the first company in the 1950s to figure out that with advanced machinery, we could pressurize and heat carbon to the point where it would crystallize. Now, the first lab-grown diamonds were not pretty, and it's just about until the last decade or so that we've started to see gem quality diamonds that we use for jewelry.
Okay, so how is a lab-grown diamond actually different from the natural thing?
So they are very, very similar. In fact, one of the biggest differences, I mean, there are a few, gemological differences, but the biggest one is their origin. So a lab-grown diamond is grown in laboratories across the world using two main processes, and it takes usually about 2 weeks to grow, whereas natural diamonds are 2 to 3 billion years old. They're grown 125 miles below the Earth's surface when extreme heat and extreme pressure starts to crystallize that carbon.
All right, so if we're talking about the lab-grown diamonds, is it the same quality as natural, and then how long do they last? Do they last the same amount of time?
Yep, so lab-grown diamonds are chemically, optically, physically a diamond. So the example I love to give is a rose. So a rose that's grown in your garden is going to be the same as a rose that's grown in a greenhouse. One came from the earth and one came from sort of a controlled environment, but they're both roses.
Oh.
Okay, so talk to us about the price now. What's the difference and how much can people save with going with the lab-grown diamond?
Yes, so lab-grown diamonds are less expensive than natural diamonds. I used to say that you could expect a lab-grown diamond to be 30 to 40% less than their mined counterpart. Now, when I say mined counterpart, that's the natural equivalent. So the same size, same color, and same clarity. Now, what I say is that lab-grown diamonds are 40 to 50% less, and you will see that percentage increase the larger the diamond gets.
Okay. Well, so are lab-grown diamonds they're environmentally friendly, more so, correct, than natural?
So that question is a little bit tricky, and so many people are under that assumption. Unfortunately, it hasn't really been answered. Right now, we kind of have two sides of the story. The natural diamond companies are saying that it takes an immense amount of energy to grow a lab-grown diamond, and then we have the lab-grown companies saying that it's better than digging a hole in the earth and the energy that's used for like the mining machinery and the mining communities. So I guess until we have a non-biased party come in and really take a survey and analyze and kind of put it to a meter per se is when we'll really know the answer as to which one would be more environmental.
Depends on who you ask.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
You touched on it a little bit about the cut and the clarity, and they're very similar, but can you really tell the difference between the two, the lab-grown and then the natural diamond?
So to the naked eye, no. Now, there are certain things that a jeweler or a gemologist, can pick up on, so internal characteristics. Now, that is, of course, for a lower quality, lower clarity diamond. If it's a high clarity diamond, there's not a lot going on the internal structure. It takes advanced gemological machinery to depict if it's a natural or a lab-grown diamond.
All right, so I'm curious about this. Resale value to lab-grown diamonds, because with regular diamonds, you take that, it's like a car. You take it out of the store and it loses value altogether. Is that the same with lab-grown?
I love that you used that example because that's the example that I use when I sell lab-grown diamonds. Anything that humans make we always learn how to make it better, more efficiently, and we find more affordable ways to make it as well. So another good example is like a plasma TV. When they first were made, they were thousands of dollars, and now you can go into Best Buy and get a plasma TV for a few hundred.
Sure.
And you know, computers are another one. The first computers took up rooms, and now we all walk around with a little mini computer, yeah, on our phone. So we have seen the price of lab-grown diamonds consistently drop since they've kind of been around in that gem quality. When you're purchasing a lab-grown diamond, though, don't think about the future value, future resale value. Think about the value that it gets you in that moment. You know, it's getting you that larger size, that higher clarity, that better color for a much more affordable price.
Don't plan to resell.
Right. Well, Rachel, before we let you go, really quickly, where can people go to find these lab-grown diamonds?
Absolutely. People can go to their local jewelry store. More and more jewelry stores are carrying lab-grown diamonds, and they can also get lab-grown diamonds online. I prefer to go into a jeweler just because they're there to provide you that education. They can show you natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds side by side, and then also talk to you about taking care of it, like getting insurance and things down the road.
Very cool. All right, Rachel, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.